Blog Talk Radio.
Welcome to Two Psychics. This is Michael Edley, evidential medium and mystic, discussing all things spiritual.
Hello, I'm Mary Amy of Two Psychics, an intuitive wisdom coach, tapping into your mystical life and sharing messages I receive about you.
Welcome, everyone. Michael Edley, psychic medium. Such a pleasure to be here on this beautiful evening at the Jersey Shore, and my fabulous co-host, Mary Amy, coming live to you from New York. What's going on, Mary Amy? How are you?
Hi, Michael. How are you?
I am good.
Oh, good. You can hear me?
I can hear you.
Oh, fantastic. Here we are, and we are on episode 22. It's all about the heavenly realm, and we are going to have call-ins, and I guess we'll speak about what's been going on in each other's lives since we last spoke last week. I'm on the East Coast in New York, and Michael's in New Jersey on the East Coast, and we're two psychics.
Yeah, everything's good. I think summer's in full swing here at the Jersey Shore. You know, it takes me probably a half hour longer to get to anywhere I want to go, but you know, we've had this run of very, very hot weather, so it's been one of those ones where with my dogs, I have, for those of you who don't know, I have two huge Bernese Mountain Dogs, and they're very, very furry, and they like it very cold. They come from the cold climates. They do not appreciate these 90-degree days. But, I'll let them out. They're out for a couple minutes, coming back in. But my house is like an icebox. So I have to keep it really cold for them. But I am enjoying the summer. I am enjoying the lovely long days, the later nights where we have more daylight and get some more things done. But it's been good. I'm enjoying it. How about you?
Oh, yeah. I've been outside every day. I walk down to the boardwalk because I live very close to the water here in Westchester County, New York. And I've been enjoying it. I've been doing a lot of exercise, running, and in gyms, and just enjoying being out in nature, and doing a lot of meditation outside in nature. And I am having, I'm so hung up on our sleeping dreams, and I've been having some very strange dreams. And someone that I worked with was talking to me about their dream, which was so strange. I used to live in the development she lives in now, and this woman that was my neighbor is now her neighbor, and she had a dream about her. And I don't know, I just met this woman. It's so synchronistic. What is the chances?
Yeah, such a small world, and so interesting how we're all so interconnected. It's really amazing.
And you know what? Everyone out there, I just want to share something. I don't know if you know this, and I know Michael is so familiar with this because he deals with the paranormal. You could say this is the niche of the paranormal. You could also say this is a spiritual realm. And when you get into the paranormal, and let's say you go on the light side of it, which is angels and spirits, positivity, but then you can go on to the dark side of it. And when we get into the heavenly realm, that's going to kind of play into what I'm saying. And what I'm referring to is you can hug someone or they can shake your hand, and then you feel strange, or you have a dream. And the reason I'm bringing this up is because this particular woman that I have at my work now, that I see a few times a week, she, after having this encounter with this woman, had a dream about a witch. And she had like something with magic and memories and mirrors. But my point I'm trying to make with you is that sometimes we have to remind ourselves that not everything that we think or have in our lives we invite. Sometimes it pushes through, like the dark side. And so how would you get rid of something that attaches itself to you? And you kind of get this really strange feeling that you have a dark cloud, where you go out and you get a bundle of sage. You can go to a health food store, or you can go to I don't know, like a little market, and you can get this little bundle of sage. They even have it in Whole Foods, and you just light the end of it, and you can put it all around you. You can do some kind of sound healing with a bowl, or you can do with a bell. What else, Michael? What are other ways to clear your energy in a space? What are some ways that you know of?
Yeah, I mean, sound is great. Like you're talking about the sage, the frankincense. So there's a couple combinations. You can also do purified or holy water and salt, at each end, the north, the south, the east, the west points, the most bottom, northerly, easternly, westernly, and southerly points on the property. There's a number of different things. And there's even a process to saging. Open the doors, the windows you want to go through at the certain point. You can basically do heavy cleanses in certain areas and then do an overall cleanse or balancing of the energy. And there's lots of different aspects of this, so we could be dealing with, aside of like the paranormal thing, if we're trying to talk about like a haunting or ghost or, the paranormal aspect, there's also residual energy. There's also ley lines. There's also, much electric attack. Like if I could talk great, that would be wonderful. Electrical activity. So depending on power transformers, how electric is run in the house, like the old socket and fuse electric boxes. And I just say this because I've gone into many spaces where people thought there was a haunting or something crazy and paranormal, where I've been able to debunk it. And I think that's the most important thing, is I think look at all those other aspects first and try to debunk those, or try to look for the simple answer. And then if you can't find it, then you take next step. But I mean, and that's in addition to just wanting to cleanse the energy of the property. But yeah, basic cleanse of the property, saging, sound. The sound healing can also heal the energy of a space. So there's a number of different things. There's protective, we can basically do protective meditations, go through a mantra of protecting ourselves, envisioning that bubble and that protective golden white light around us. So there's many different aspects. There's protective prayers. If you can find a local church, bring one of the local priests in to bless the property. You can have a shamanic practitioner that's like authentic and truly knows what they're doing, and the proper mix of sage and other, basically what they do is they connect the elemental connection of the property and the space and the land, and they try to go deep beyond just what's in the residual space of the property, and they try to go into the aspects of the land and the ground and the water underneath, and many aspects of the trees that are on the property. So there's a couple different ways we can look at this. But yeah, a very basic, simple way to just cleanse your property. You just bought a new house, you're going into a new apartment, starting a new job, and you have a new office, and you just want to get rid of any old jujus, anything that could be there. You want to get rid of the energy cooties of the space. Yeah, sage it, and then that particular space, if that's a particular room or a building, the north, south, east, and west, you want to get a little tiny bit of natural sea salt. You want it pure. You don't want any chemicals or iodine. You want a pure salt. And you put a little drop of that in each corner. You could do a little bit of the holy water. Then you could do a mix of the sage, the frankincense. And you do a blessing, and you clear any residual energy. You bless that space. You want to open up the windows if you can bring a lot of light, natural air into that space. But there's a lot of things in addition to that we have to look at, from fluorescent light bulbs to, could there be mold or mildew, in the walls? Could there be lead paint? Could there be something in the ductwork? So if someone's having problems in a space, we have to look at all those things and look at it from, the holistic aspect, in addition to what would be just a theoretical looking at the electric and the AC of the house. So, multiple ways you can look at it, but sage with frankincense, a little bit of salt, a little bit of blessed holy water, and you can cleanse any room as a basic cleansing and kind of reset that energy, reboot the system, reboot the energy of the space.
And also you can take baths, and I think is it a salt bath, or I think it's a salt bath, isn't it?
Yeah.
Salt?
Yeah, there's there's certain salts, and then there's certain essential oils you can mix in with that. And there's a lot of things, just to not only cleanse your energy, but there's great things to cleanse, the the skin. There's things for the endocrine system. There's things for the digestive tract. So there's all different ways. If you're having a certain issue in a certain area of your body, you can holistically look at that and try to cleanse and purify, from doing deep baths, the bath salts, essential oils. So that's all very, very, like it's been utilized for a long period of time. People seem to have really good results with it, and you can cover many different aspects, many different ailments, by doing that. And some people use that in conjunction. Not to ramble on a little bit, but some people even use that in conjunction with certain types of fasting or cycling out their diet, doing, cutting out sugar or cutting out, carbs or certain things, and they'll try to do that in conjunction with the bath and the salts or, a steam room. And we had talked about you doing kind of the powwow smoke hut. What did they call it? What was it that you did last week or a couple weeks back?
It's the Sweat Lodge. The Sweat Lodge. I did it a week ago Saturday. 2 weeks ago tomorrow.
So and that was very
that was kind of getting some bad juju off, but I wasn't in there long enough. But I think I definitely did get bad juju. But just to recap, I'm going to add that be wary of when you bring in a new piece of furniture if it's an antique. You can also just simply say blessings or prayers. Bad dark forces do not like that. They'll show up and they will actually make sure that they're there. And unless it's already in the footprint of the house, it's possible to get rid of dark forces, because I did do house clearings for a while, and I know if it's not in the footprint of the house, like in other words the original location, then you probably can get rid of it. So that's it.
And the interesting thing, I don't know what it is, or it's just the lineage and the history of dark versus light, but it definitely seems like the Christian artifacts, the cross, the holy water, the Bible, the rosary beads, for whatever reason, whether this is just going back to the lineage of God, the angels, Jesus, good, light versus dark, it seems like the demonic or the evil or whatever aspect of that we're looking at, for whatever reason, the symbolic Christian items, those relics, seem to work very well too. So maybe if you're having an issue, bring a Bible into the house, bring some holy water in the house, sprinkle it around. But there's many different things you have to look at before I think you even get into that. But preventatively, if you want to just rule those things out, hey, maybe go down to the local church and have something, have it blessed. You can, if you bring something in, a new piece of furniture, like you're talking about, Mary, a new item, you're at the thrift shop or the antique market, and you find this great little piece that you have to have, and it matches everything else. Well, yeah, take a look at where could that have been. Could there have been crazy energy around it? Could it have been in contact in a crazy environment with, disruptive energy, and could that have imprinted onto it? So get that blessed or cleanse it, and that's definitely a good thing. I definitely like that recommendation, Mary. That's definitely something for people to consider whenever they're bringing something new into their house.
Absolutely. All right, everyone. So tonight we're on episode 22. It's the Heavenly Realm, and we are going to be taking callers, and we're going to be discussing and giving our input about what is the Heavenly Realm. I'm also going to be doing a visualization. I want to remind everyone that upcoming we have Rick Relez, and he's a Bigfoot investigator, and he's coming on July 11th. And so far, we're going to continue with the Thursday evenings at 7:30. Now, you can reach Michael Edley at michaeledley.com. You can reach me at maryamyofficial.com. We have a Facebook page. We'd love you to follow us, Two Psychics Radio. Also here on Blog Talk Radio, it would be great if you follow. Now, you do not have to pay a fee. There's a way around it. I think you just have to, you can join without paying. We do have merchandise, which is Two Psychics merchandise, and you can find that on our description. And it is at spreadshop.com. Okay, so Michael, I'm going to start talking about Heavenly Realm, and then after that, I'd love to hear what you have to say, and then we'll take a caller. What do you think?
Sure. Yeah, sounds good.
Okay, perfect. All right, so, I just come up with these spontaneously, these topics, and we originally did have a guest this evening, and she had something that came into play, so she could not make it. But I decided to keep the conversation moving. I'm referring to Jilly Clark, and she's an angelic channeler, and she's wonderful, and we will get her another time. But she speaks about angels, so I wanted to kind of keep it in that, and I just heard, like, it popped into my head, the word, or the words, heavenly realm. So what is the heavenly realm? Well, heaven is a part of the heavenly realm. It's goodness, and evil is all present in the heavenly realms. And heaven is a perfect spiritual angelic place that has activity. It's a dimension under the rule of God. It's a heavenly place, and heavenly realms are in the Bible. So I'm going to give you some input. I'm going to speak about the heavenly realms, which I honestly had not investigated until I looked into this topic. So if I butcher words, I apologize. Assyrians, 1.3, 1.20, 2.6, 3.10, and 6.12, just to give you a heads up. It says everything according to God, the three heavens. It claims in the Bible that there's three heavens. And so the first heaven is where birds fly. The second heaven is the space where the stars reside, or the space where the moon and the planets and stars are located. And the third heaven is God's home. Now, we know that there's four realms of life: the physical, the mental, the emotional, and the spiritual realms. Heaven was created, and the creation of earth. And I'm butchering this word, sorry. Ephesians 1.20 says, Jesus being seated in the heavenly realms, God raised Christ from the dead and seated him at the right hand in the heavenly places. Now, Revelation 7.11, Psalm 99.1 says, he sometimes sends angels to appear on earth, even taking the form of men to share his messages from him with specifically people. Now, the heavenly realms are spiritual place where both angels and demonic activity takes place. It's made up of God's home called heaven with Jesus and angels and saints. Now, I was not aware of this. I don't know if our listeners were, so I wanted to kind of bring attention to this. I'm going to just delve a little bit more, and then I want to hear what Michael has to say. Now, Ephesians 1.20, again, I'm butchering this, they also made of the dark side where Satan and his fallen angels reside and plan evil. We are looking for a new heaven on earth where the righteous dwells, said Peter. Okay, now, if I want to go deeper into what the three heavens are. So the first heaven is not where God is. It's where we are on earth. Our struggle is not against the flesh and blood, but against the rulers, against authorities, against powers of this dark world, and against the spiritual forces of evil in the heavenly realms. This is earth where we are. That's the first heaven, heaven one. We can't see or hear, but it is all around us. And it's an invisible realm, unseen battle between God's angels and Satan's demons. And I believe that we've been going through that. Now, the second heaven, to go a little deeper, is all the galaxies that exist. God is the God of power and of might, of the supernatural, of miracles, and of the whole universe, and eternal power and divine nature. And the third heaven is where all our loved ones have gone. And that's what I have, Michael.
Yeah, no, it's really interesting. I definitely think, to try to simplify this as much as possible. I know we have a wide array of listeners with many different backgrounds, many different beliefs, many different opinions on this type of thing. And I like to try to look at it as, I think the most important thing at this point in time when we're looking at like the heavenly divine realm and, are we these spiritual beings living a human existence? Well, my opinion is absolutely 100% yes. I truly believe we are spiritual beings and we are having a human existence. We do come from a heavenly realm and a creator. And I think a lot of the the mixed thoughts and the process around this. People that come from, an atheistic or, that nihilistic type background, or like non-believers. I think we have to look at it almost as the quantum physicists are looking at this now. And you have some really complex, study and really trying to look at this on a molecular level, and how life could come together, how things are connected, how you can have one neuron, and you could split these cells, and you can have this activity in one side of the cell you're splitting, and you'll have that identical activity in the other half of the cell, even if it's in a different space, a different lab, a whole different environment. And those connections, that everything is connected on some subatomic level. I think it's very interesting as far as quantum physicists go, and the studies they've been doing. We absolutely, there's no possible way, even looking at this from a scientific standpoint, that we could have just randomly evolved into what we are. Now, were there different steps and different pieces of the puzzle that came even after we were created from a divine creator? Could there have been other races, other breeds, other things other than humans that were also created in this large, universe that we have no idea of the mass amounts of what it entails and what's in it and what it encompasses. So could there have been an alien race that took this divine race of humans that were good but were a simpler, more Neanderthal species? And could we have been spliced with, another form's DNA? And regardless of all that, we were still created. There was still some divine process. There was still some underlying divine creation that had to have occurred, even if there were variables along the way to what we are now. So that absolutely, I think, from what you're seeing on a scientific level, and obviously we don't have time to get into all that from the show, but I mean, for those of you that don't know, I'm also a scientific research medium. So I'm in the lab. They're studying me. They're studying my brain waves. They're studying how I can connect to consciousness outside the body, how I can connect to, a spirit or whatever we want to, our loved ones that are around us, going on to a different dimension, residing in a different frequency. I mean, there's many different ways we can look at it, but it's absolutely there. It's been proven, by people like me, evidential mediums, and they're all around, people that are truly looking at this from a scientific standpoint and trying to, from the basic fundamentals, show that the continuity of life does not end with physical death. It's just a transition of the energy, and they're showing how all the energy is connected. So that's what I find so fascinating. It's almost like it's taken these past several centuries for science and our human civilization to either catch back up to what the spiritual, the spiritualists have known, and the monks and the practitioners that have practiced going deep inside and going on these spiritual journeys, on these vision quests. So, whether it's been taken away from us from ancient civilizations that were totally based around this and knew and embraced it, that's what it looks like. But what I could tell you is, even what we know now, even in the church, even in, the current day Christian church and the teachings, there's still a lot that was taken away from the people when the Roman Empire took over in 400 AD. A lot of stuff was shifted. I can tell you absolutely. So what you're talking about, Mary Amy, and a lot of what you're referring to is Ephesians. And anyone that wants to look back into the Old Testament,
I can't say that word.
Ephesians really, it dials in on the aspects of what current day mediums are doing. People like myself that are tapping into an awareness of, a gift of knowledge, getting a specific word, all these different abilities, all these different things are all spoken about, and a lot of it's in Ephesians. This goes back to the Old Testament. We see this throughout the New Testament. So this isn't something new, and this isn't something that, it's only a short period of time that there's a perception that, people shouldn't be doing this, or, that's bad, and, only the priest should be your intercessor. I can tell you that's absolute nonsense. We all have this divine ability to connect to the heavenly realm and to connect to the divine presence of God. God is within us. Our Creator is within us. It connects everything, every human, every animal, every piece of nature, whether that's trees, plants, flowers, the soil, the water, the air, every molecule we breathe is alive. Everything is alive to some degree, and it's a matter of opening and tuning into that. And when we tune into that, that's the first step of tuning into the heavenly realm. It's understanding that we're connected. And that's spoken about, I believe it's 5 times in Ephesians. They talk about the heavenly realm. And it's spoken about in that sense that we are living in basically a piece of the heavenly realm. And as we raise and lift our vibration, we transcend through. There's that multiple 3-layer aspect till, and we could go into it. There's other aspects of the angelic realms that intertwine throughout that there's there's many more of those. But the basic principle of what you talked about, our atmosphere into this universal, like solar system type atmosphere, and then what's beyond that, what lies right behind that, and that's that heavenly divine realm. But truly, when we look at it, when you think about it like that, it makes it seem like it's really far away. It's really not. It's just another dimension, another frequency, and it's right here. It is right here, So that's what we need to understand. That connection is always around us. We can always tune into it, but it's a matter, it's a matter of choice, and it's something we have to truly be aware of. We have to sit with, and we have to tap into. So it's not just something that's going to jump. I mean, there may be aspects of it that are going to jump out and smack you upside the head and say, hey, we're here. And I truly believe the angelic realm, our angels, our guides, the saints, the ascended masters, our loved ones in spirit, they're always trying to try to guide and help and bring the best to us so we can help make the best decisions, the best choices, and try to, transcend through this, this heavenly journey. I mean, this earthly journey to get to that heavenly, that heavenly realm. So there's many different aspects to it, but a lot of it is in the Old Testament, the New Testament. I can tell you a lot of the new modern day church, what I'm going to call it, there's an awakening going on. And they're definitely seeing that the parishioners of the church have to have this personal connection to God. It's not, anyone that's just anyone that thinks they have this divine connection, but all they're doing is, like a time clock, checking in church on Sunday, sitting there, just listening, not absorbing anything, not meditating, going out the doors, and then they turn into this horrible person that's mean and nasty. You're not getting it, and that's not going to save you. This is truly about a personal divine connection that we must have with what I'm going to say is, our divine creator, the universe, this all omnipotent, powerful energy, however you want to refer to it, it all goes back to the same omnipotent, omnipotent, divine energy, and I refer to that as God. Some people may refer to that as the universe, whatever you want to call it, it connects us, and it connects us on a subatomic level, and it does not end, even with physical death. We're always connected to everyone and everything that's ever existed and ever will exist. And I think that's one of the reasons why people can tap into and start understanding things like the Akashic Records. We can look at these basically databases of energy and see what has unfolded, what can unfold, what are the possibilities, and what is out there, what surrounds us, what encompasses everything, what are the different timelines. And that's all there. It's truly just a process of learning and understanding and growing and then utilizing this stuff. So it's really, really interesting, and I probably told you a little way more than you wanted to know about my opinion of it, but that's kind of it.
Well, it's so interesting because I've been in connection with the angelic realm. That's what I can see it. So it is a place, and that's what I found when I investigated this heavenly realm. It said it is a location. It's just that we can't necessarily see it. It's kind of invisible. Although I think you see something, like when in the spirit world, I don't know where that's located, but it's another dimension as well. And we have to take it like it is a serious thing. It does exist. Just like there's frequencies going on all around us, energy going all around us. Just because we can't see it with the human eye doesn't mean it doesn't exist. And there is a heavenly realm.
Yeah, think about that. Think about like your 5G connection, or these waves of energy that are bouncing in, all these wireless connections. The 4G network that we used to have, the 3G network. Now we're on the 5G network. We're There's all these signals and all these energies. We can't see them, but we utilize them. If the internet's down, there's going to be lots of people with lots of problems. You can't see that 5G connection other than you can see the little bar lighting up on your computer or on your phone. You know, how good of a connection do you have? Same thing. Just think about electric. Okay, so if we're just to look at an electrical socket, you know, there's meters and there's tools that can read the energy, but you can't see it. You can stick your finger in the socket and you can definitely feel it. You know what I mean? So people need to understand that it's not just those little aspects of our daily life that are unseen forces that are around us. You know, there's many different unseen forces, and there is a divine heavenly realm. I mean, this is why I can do my thing. And the interesting thing, too, about this, there's absolutely an awakening going on and more people starting to understand this. And even if they were never exposed to it or they were never in a spiritual or a religious household or environments, people are starting to awaken. They are, and they're starting to understand that there's something more, and they have to try to tune into it. And I've had so many people come to me, just even in the last, I would say 6 to 8 weeks of just private readings I've been doing, small group readings, and just people that happen to be at an event that I'm part of that were very skeptical or grieving very heavy, and you know they couldn't have they went to different readers or different people, and they just weren't able to bring that message through. They weren't able to give them that evidence, that validation that you know their loved one is okay and is safe and happy. And that's why I truly almost appreciate the challenge of having the skeptics, because I'd like them with me, because I truly believe anyone that sits with me, and I don't mean to say this at all in like an ego way or in a way, I just truly believe there's many of us that do have this gift we've been born with, and if we utilize it, we can really, really make a powerful tool to show people that there is something else, and we could show that in an evidential, authentic way. And that's what I do that's why I went into being a scientific research medium. I wanted to know the why. I wanted to know what's behind this and what's truly going on, because, you know, the world is skeptical. I'm skeptical. I want to know. I want to know from a scientific standpoint. I want to see the science behind it. What's really happening? Is something going on in my brain when I'm doing this that's not normally happening in the brain? Yes. You know, and that's all been documented. It's been proven. And that's why I had to approach it the way I do it. So that's why, shout out to the evidential, authentic practitioners that are out there that truly want to do this the right way and truly want to make a difference by showing people the continuity of life does not end in physical death. And there's so much more, even in addition to our loved ones around us, just tapping into these energies. That's what I tell people. Just like if you're a business owner or you're trying to make headway with managing people, or trying to, even if you're like a builder, an architect, even if you're in law enforcement, whatever it is, you can utilize these energies for understanding, for knowledge, for an awareness, for a knowing that can be the shift of, in certain instances, life and death. So when we truly tap into this energy, your life will never be the same. You can never look at things the same. And I guarantee old, outdated, antiquated thoughts and processes and approaches to how you were doing things, you'll never go back to once you see and understand this awareness of this realm around us. And I don't know how more dramatic I can be about it, but I can tell you, I've seen multiple people that their whole belief system has totally been uprooted and shifted because they were in my group or they sat with me, and I was able to bring a piece of evidence or information through to show them that, that loved one that they thought was totally gone is still around them. It still wants a connection. That child that was lost in a tragic accident, that child's still around the parents, still wants a connection with the parents, still wants them to know that, he or she loves them, wants to vicariously still enjoy the life they're living, wants to still experience that joy and that love through them. And when they see that grief and that pain and how that can debilitate someone's entire life and just drag them down, that is not what they want to see for their loved ones that are still here. They want to help uplift them. And that's part of this process. When we understand this, it totally shifts our mindset. It totally shifts our belief systems. And you can never look at things the same way. And that's just the bottom line of it.
All right. Well, how about if we get into a caller and then I will do a healing visualization?
Yeah, let's do a caller.
Now, now, I don't know if you remember last week, everyone, all our listeners, I'm so grateful that you're here. We grabbed someone at the very end who had gotten, we connected to her the first phone call, and she had, the button was muted, so she didn't get on. So she's going to join us now, and we're going to get the full story. I don't think that we really spoke very, very long. It might have been like 3 or 4 minutes, from what I remember. Michael?
So just no, it was a couple minutes. I think we had like 5 minutes left, and we were trying to get one last caller, one question on, and we started going in. It was a pretty in-depth question that we probably couldn't really cover couldn't fairly cover in 5 minutes.
Yeah.
So the cool thing is, if you do get cut off, as long as you can get back on and you can call us or get on for the next episode, we're more than happy to finish that and try to finalize that message or get that reading on and get it out there for you, you know, because we want to get that information and that message through to you just as much as you want to hear it. So if you do get cut off or something happens, just give us a call back or listen in, and you know that's basically what you're hearing right now. So who do we have again, and what's going on?
Okay, well, let's bring her on. Hi,
Hello.
This is Mary and Michael. Who's this?
Hi, this is Val. Hi, guys. I have to say, the opening of your show was beautiful. I loved how you spoke about the heavens and, you know, the different aspects of things, and how, you know, people who are gone are still connected. That was beautiful. So I just have to tell you that.
We appreciate that. We appreciate it. Now, you were on at the very end of the show last week, right? We kind of got cut off, and just
for like 2 minutes or 3 minutes.
Yeah. So if you could just, what was the question again? Because we're basically just going to open up a whole new session because I don't remember anything of the links and the connection we had last time. So just give us that question again, and we'll try to.
I don't know if I don't know if I actually gave you.
Or if you didn't give us a question, you have the opportunity now to ask a new question. That's the bonus. The bonus of calling back.
I appreciate that. I guess first I wanted to just see what you got around me coming up, and then maybe I'll throw out a question.
All right, cool. So just give us your name slowly again, just your first name slowly, and we're just going to connect to your energy.
It's Valerie.
Okay, Valerie. So what's interesting, Valerie, as you say your name, I literally hear there's female energy. So let me just explain to the listeners and to you how certain things come to me. So as a medium, I've kind of developed a system with the spirit realm. And when I get female energy from around your family structure, it comes to me in a certain way. And it comes to me, I actually feel it on a certain side of my body. And the male energy comes to me a different way. And depending on where their relationship was to you, I'll almost feel that energy come at me at a certain angle. Sometimes it'll shift up to me on my right side, on my left side. Sometimes it'll come at me at like a horizontal feel of the energy. Sometimes it'll swoop in from above at a certain angle. And depending on that is how I can kind of determine where and, you know, where they kind of fit around you and kind of who's connecting. So the interesting thing is I have heavy female energy coming to me from mom's side. So I don't know now they're also, I don't believe this is mom that I'm connecting to, but I do believe I have. Okay. So you can confirm mom is still here, correct?
Yes.
Yeah. Cool. But grandma's in spirit, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So we got grandma now.
Yeah.
Now but the interesting thing is I have 3 ladies with me, 3 ladies that have like a grandmotherly connection. So there's either like a step aunt or a great aunt that's with her, or a godmother.
Mm-hmm.
That's in spirit, and there's also another So I would say mom and dad's grandmoms, because I feel like one stepping in. But there's a third one. So is there the godmother that was very connected to you, or a very close friend of the family, or great aunt? I feel like they're showing me
an aunt, and she was like my my grandmother's sister.
Okay, that's how they're coming in with the 3. Okay, now were they like pretty much the 3 prominent like senior women around you? Because that's what I kind of feel like. There was like these 3, and then I feel like there's another grouping though. I feel like I have one. I don't know if this is I don't think this is sister, but there's someone around the family structure that would be sisterly. That's all. There's a lot of women coming in, and I don't know if they're talking about her or they're talking about a name around, but I feel like they're giving me the S. They're validating the S as a significant initial around you. Now, I don't know if they're giving me someone in the spirit realm or they're giving me information of someone here around you, but I'm literally seeing the S, and I thought I heard the name like Susan or Susie. Is there a Susan or a Sue around you, or the S being significant?
No, not that I can think of. No.
Interesting. So I feel like they're giving. Okay, so I just want to put that name to the side because definitely the name Sue or Susan is around in your energy field. So I almost feel like the female energy around you is giving me a name, and that may come around like your question. A lot of times if I'm getting a name like that you can identify as someone connected close to you, then if you're going through like a transition or there's paperwork or legal documents, selling a property, buying a business, selling a business, new job, something where you could be signing paperwork or there could be multiple people involved in a process or a legal document or something like that, this name could be very influential in a positive way around that. So, we'll sit with, depending on your question and depending on, what you have going on with you. But now the interesting thing, so when I connect to all their energy, sometimes I'll hear things, sometimes I'll see things, but I was definitely seeing that S. So I don't know what the S is as a prominent initial, and I thought I was hearing the name Sue. I'll put that to the side, but I'm also getting visuals of what is this? So I feel like I'm seeing like like I'm seeing the Tin Man, I'm seeing the Scarecrow, I'm seeing the Lion, I'm seeing like all these characters. What are they? I'm trying to see what they're trying to show me around the movie. So is there connections to the Wizard of Oz, to Dorothy and her dog, or Toto? Did you have a dog like that? Because I'm seeing Toto also, and I feel like they're giving me like imagery around the Wizard of Oz. So is there someone's name like Dorothy, or is there like a Dorothea? Is there like, I don't know why they're showing me this imagery of like Wizard of Oz imagery. Can you take that, or are you like a collector? Is there some attachment? Did you watch that movie with one of these ladies? Did she see it? There's some connection to that, so I don't know if it's a sign for you, but it's definitely the Wizard of Oz. Did you have a little dog? Did someone around you have a little dog that would have looked like Toto, like that little, I forget what breed it, some kind of terrier, like a little terrier type dog? Have that kind of dog? Did one of them have that dog that be with them? Because I feel like they're also okay, not sure. And understand, if there's someone else out there that's listening that can take this information, definitely message us and let me know, because sometimes Spirit will jump in on the reading. And I've been doing a lot of readings over the last several days, so I would say my volume knob is still up. But there's also, so now I want to go back to their grandmothers, and I want to go back to, like, Val, I want to talk to you about Mom's mom. So Mom's mom, she's handing me like mittens. Was she big into like, did she like craft or make clothes or like make mittens? Did she like knit?
She knit, yes she did.
That's funny because she's showing me like knitting. Did she like knit you things that you necessarily didn't really want to wear? Because that's what I feel like kind of laughed about. Like, oh, these are a little crazy looking. Or was there like gloves or mittens or like weird,
I don't remember exactly. I'm sure she did knit me gloves. She sewed though a lot.
Yeah, it's funny. So, and they'll come through. They want to acknowledge kind of what they did to give little pieces of evidence that they're around you. I feel like now, question: was there? I feel like she's showing me Catholic ties. Was there a Bible, crucifix? Was there Catholic connections in the family around Mom?
Yes. She went to church every Sunday, and I have a crucifix, a wall crucifix that was hers.
Yeah. Okay, so that's what she's acknowledging. So she's acknowledging that. So she just wants to give some pieces of evidence, and the interesting thing.
Hi, Grandma.
She's around you, and that's what we talked about. The heavenly realm. It's right here.
Yeah.
It's right. We can blend into it almost in a sense, and that's kind of what I do, and that's what I say. They take on, our loved ones almost take on like this angelic journey. And I feel like they want me to share this with you because I don't, I normally don't share all these like details around it, But it's important for me to tell you they're almost like an angel around you, like your loved ones. That's kind of the role they've taken. The interesting thing is there. So they're showing me. Is there like a shed, or is there like wood damage on the property? Is there like a shed or a garage or something where you're dealing with like carpentry, construction, maintenance, repairs?
I just had my house sided, like my entire house sided,
cool. Okay,
like a month ago.
How do you like that? So they're giving me that information, so you know they were around you and watching over when that was happening. How cool is that? That they're showing me that they were around you just having those repairs done. So I just want to acknowledge that. Thank you for that validation.
Thank you. You're welcome.
So I know we're connected pretty good, so why don't you present us with a question? And if there's a specific question or an area of life you want me to get into, and as we open that energy up, Mary Amy can jump on and give you kind of, her input around what's going on and what life has in store for you.
Okay. I'll throw out two things if it's okay, and then I'll let you go with. All right. One is work and what you see coming up, and the other is a gentleman named Jeffrey and what you see if there's a reconnection. I recently sent a very long. When I write anybody, I write them a book. It doesn't matter who it is. So I recently sent him a long text, and I don't know if he got it, if he read it.
Not to cut you off, but since I have the connection and I'm connected to your, I'm going to say, your collective. We got Grandma, we got your aunt, we got the other grandma. They're talking about the poem. So, did you write this guy a poem or a song, like song lyrics, or like a piece of poetry? Was there something you wrote? Or okay, so I have to ask you: is there do you do that? Like, I feel like they're talking about the guy you wrote. Who did you write? Did you write poetry to someone, or write like song lyrics, or send a song to, or say this song is about this person? And I'm not talking about Jeffrey, but I feel like they're talking about someone. No one identified that you like wrote like this real, almost like poetry, or like a lovely passage about them, or nothing like that you wrote.
I don't know if it was so much a passage.
Like a song? Is there something like that would almost be song-like or like poetry-like? Because that's what I feel like they're showing me. Well,
I don't think so. No.
Okay. Okay. So there's something going on. Okay. So all right. What they could be showing me, and this is gonna sound a little wacky to you, but understand, we know we're connected to Grandma. She's talking about just getting the house, the home improvement stuff done. We know we have a good, valid connection. She's talking about now. This could be you receiving the poetry. So I don't want to say from them if this is the right or wrong guy. I don't know, but what I feel like they're showing me is someone's going to either write you poetry or like a song lyric, or they're going to say, hey, this song reminds me of you. There's something about like song lyrics or poetry and someone kind of writing this down or making a dedication to you. There's something about like lyrics and poems. So I don't know if there's going to be like a guy you meet that actually writes you a poem or dedicates like a song to you, or brings you to a concert, or you have an opportunity for something like musical around it and something that would incorporate lyrics. Does this guy do anything like that? Is he a musician or a writer, or does stuff? He's
very into music, and I'm very into music.
Okay, so that's what they could be showing me. So there's definitely like connections to someone that would be like a songwriter, creative, musical. So that could be this guy, and that could be them.
But I do have a lot of. Sorry, I was going to say I have a lot of music friends. I used to sing in a couple of bands years and years and years ago.
Okay. So that's what's coming up. All right. So the interesting thing, so I have to bring this up too. You didn't plan having a full out reading, but you're getting almost a full out reading right now.
Thank you.
You're talking about you. So now it's making sense. So now that I know kind of in your background, there's music and the lyrics and the writing. That's why they're talking about that. They're talking about, there's something about you getting back to like lyrics or writing or singing, or like something about that is going to bring you peace and healing. So what that tells me, for them to start giving me that type of imagery and that type of message, regardless of the relationship and regardless of who's around you, I feel like they're showing me like you're real, like it's almost like you have to kind of let go of your mind and being caught up in your mind, and you have to give yourself a creative outlet to do that. and I'm seeing like the lyrics or the poetry or the listening to the music, but I feel like there's like it's actual like writing a composition or you're actually singing the song, even if it's like a cover song, whatever it may be. There's something about the connection to the lyrics and the music with you that will kind of free your mind. It will give you that space in your mind where there's going to be some kind of internal shift. Now, that's what I think they're saying. There's like internal shift and growth that should truly happen before you set your sights on like a set permanent relationship. Because I think there's either things right now that you find in a relationship that, hey, I need this X, Y, and Z with, my significant other, but going through this inward process and letting that creativity come out might put you in a different environment, different circumstances, or a different social circle that will lead to the correct person. And I'm not saying this person is correct or incorrect, the Jeffrey you mentioned, but I'm just telling you some kind of musical connection to you, an internal, deep connection to that music and that journey and that creativity is going to unleash something within that's going to definitely put the opportunity in a more positive aspect for you. So either you'll present yourself in a more positive way to the significant other that you're trying to win over, you're trying to connect with, or it's going to put you in a social circle where that right person is going to be there, and it's going to give you the opportunity to meet that person. So there's something about that they're showing me about you getting back to that connection to music in order to further that connection to somebody else. So there's some internal growth, or you're very caught up in your mind, and you need that as your meditative state that's going to just put you in a better space to maybe handle some adversity around a new relationship or around the dynamics of dealing with a new person, So there's something to that, and there's something very important for you to get back to the music and get back to the lyrics and the right. So, Mary Amy, well, I've gone on for a while. What are you getting, Mary Amy?
Hi, Val. How are you?
Hi. Good. How are you?
I'm great. Okay. So, what I received the moment that you got on was I saw a staircase, and a staircase is a very positive symbol. You are journeying to different places. It represents progress and growth, and you're reaching new heights. I also saw a puzzle. It's very interesting. I just saw these very specific symbols, and a puzzle is basically, it represents that there's something going on, a challenge, and you need to take a step back to have a bigger picture. I also saw a white bunny rabbit, and this represents that you are faithful in love and you have innocence. And I did see I did sense a very strong maternal figure around you, a spirit. I also saw that you are very much a lover of togetherness, and what I'm talking about is like you prefer a normal family relationship, like people sitting at the table eating together, togetherness, when you sit and eat meals. I saw you wearing a purple scarf, an entrance to the spirit world. There is something that you need to give a chance beyond needed. When it was in regard to the job, I heard new beginnings for you, and and the color white. And then in reference to Jeffrey, it was about skipping rocks. That was positive to me. I'm getting something positive, like what I'm sensing is that it might seem to skip around or jump around, but don't give up on that. There's something there that is right for you. And maybe even if it starts out as a friendship, I don't know how much romance you've already
we lived together years ago and went back and forth.
Okay.
And I'm trying to reconnect with him. There was a lot of hostility, and I'm trying to reconnect with him. And now more, I guess, on a friendship level, because I genuinely care and I worry, but I can't get him to respond. And I don't know why. I feel like the tie's still there, but he's either being a really stubborn you-know-what, or I can't imagine I'm making it up in my head, but maybe I am, but I don't think so.
Well, you have
do you feel he read the text?
It's not. Pardon me?
I say, do you feel he read the text I sent, or what he thought of it, or if he's ever going to get back to me?
Well, I believe that I sense that you shouldn't give up. I mean, if it's friendship you're looking for, that's possible. Maybe give that some clarity about that. That's what you're looking for. It's not like you're rushing into a romance with him. And if, the fact that it's been a while, then, sometimes it takes people, everyone has a different sense of time. My time is different than your time, is different than Michael's time, is different than the guy next door's time. So people come around when they want to come around. You can't force things ever, and then you're not genuinely getting them. That's why I always say, if someone's interested, then they're interested. You don't want to make anyone or force anyone or control anything. You have to let it come to you. So if you put out the olive branch and you try and that's all you can do. That's all you can do, right? That's up to them. That's their right. That's their boundaries. So you have to give people their boundaries. But I honestly, like, I got skipping rocks. I sense there's something positive. I don't know why I'm seeing the color blue now, but I sense something positive with him. I would not give up. I'm not saying that he's going to contact you later today, but I do believe that you're going to hear back from him. I do sense you will.
Okay. All right. Do you have any idea, Len?
Yeah. I think it's a process, and it's interesting with you talking about it now, so kind of knowing a little bit of the backstory now that I didn't know initially when I was bringing the message through of, your loved ones in spirit around you, telling you to go on that inward journey and open yourself up to that musical aspect of yourself. So I think there's a point. So you're talking about friendship with this person and a reconnect, and I do think that's possible. I do think there's almost like a fear on his side, though, that I sense. And look, we don't have him here, so I'm not going to read the energy of someone that isn't, with me or in front of me that I'm connected to. But I kind of sense of how I connected to you and what I sense around you. There's definitely some type of fear around him. So I don't know if there's a fear of getting close to you and it fails, or doesn't want to open himself up in that way again, feeling like he'll get hurt. I don't know, but there's something to that. There's a fear, because they said that. I heard that around him. When I ask your loved ones about Jeffrey, they talk about there's fear. There's fear. That's what I heard around that. So I'll just share that with you. I do believe the more important point of you calling right now, not for us to necessarily tell you yay or nay on Jeffrey. I truly believe your loved ones put you in contact with us so we can just kind of reiterate what they're seeing is that there's this really personal, deep journey that you could go on, that so much can come to you from that. So much growth, so much awareness. And I do believe opening yourself to other social circles, other people, other environments that could produce that soulmate type love, or that connection that would be very beautiful and very uplifting to you. But I think what they're concerned about, I think what your loved ones show me, is they don't want you to date somebody else or be attracted to somebody else because you think they're going to fulfill you.
I'm not like that.
No, and I think they just want to reiterate that, and they want to reiterate that mindset that you have, that it's like there's so much that you have that you could bring to the table, and so much that you could offer someone up of you in that relationship, that the other person has to just be the icing on the cake. They can't be the cake.
Exactly.
And you understand that. You understand that? So that's
I do now.
Yeah, well, I think
I didn't in the past.
And that's good. And we learn. We make mistakes. We learn. We grow. And that's part of the process. So if you can do that, that's a beautiful thing. But there's something very important and very special for you to get back to the music. So, and I truly believe, I think they're showing me that as maybe you need to start singing again. And maybe that's you sing, local, you go to the karaoke night and you meet the greatest guy because he's up there and he just falls in love with your voice and says, man, that's amazing. And I want her to sing that song to me. You might get that. So there's something very special about your connection to music. And I do believe they're showing that connection and that gift that you have will almost like kind of tune you in. You're like the harp, playing the harp, and that harp is just sending out those waves of love, and those waves of love are going to throw out the crazy one that you don't want to attract and draw in the beautiful, loving energy that you do want to attract. So it's really important that you get back to that. Now, while I'm connecting to them, I believe they're giving me the name, like, is there a Chris or a Christopher? Chris? Is there a Chris around you, or the C, the CH as significant?
Not that I know.
Okay, I feel like they're giving me be aware of Christopher. Be aware of that name as a positive connection somewhere. So if there's different things going on in your life, if there's transition, if you're looking to go into new environments, that could be a workplace environment, a move, whatever it may be, the definite, like, they're giving me that name and also the S. So the S is going to be very prominent for you. I just want you to be aware of those names moving forward as some type of positive connection they're showing me. They're not giving me those names for no reason, or write those names down and just sit and think, was there an old neighbor, a friend, a work colleague? Is there someone that in spirit that they're acknowledging these people are in spirit around you? So they're doing one of two things with these names. They're either acknowledging someone around you that has this name that you're just not remembering right now, or they're giving me these names to give you as a positive connection that's going to show up somewhere moving forward. So just be aware of the Sue and be aware of the Christopher. All right.
Okay, so I'm wondering, and Mary, Amy, you said something when you brought up work and new beginnings, and I'm going to throw this out real quick. Unfortunately, due to a health reason, I'm not able to work full time. I work as hard as I can. I took a job I really didn't want, but there's a backstory. But anyways, I needed a job, and now, a lot of companies, even if you're very good at something, but you're only part-time, they won't hire management for part-time. And I was recently approached by someone in my corporate yesterday, and she had said something to me a few months back, and I figured when she found out I can't work full-time, she was going to just dismiss it, and it was just, So anyways, yesterday she saw me, and she said, hey, you got a few minutes? I said, sure. She's like, I'm not sure if you remember our conversation. I said, yes, I do. And she said, and I'd like to have you be part of a meeting twice a day, like it's just a kind of a huddle thing with the rest of the team about X, Y, and Z. And I said, absolutely. Then later, as I was walking out with my manager, we just happened to be walking out at the same time for the end of the day, he said something, and I said, let me ask you, why don't companies let part-time people, be in management? And he said, we're working on something, and you're going to be our test dummy, ha, ha, ha. And, he said, we'll see how this goes, and I'm working on getting you more money, and I need you more than you need me. I said, okay, well, thank you. And that was it. We went our separate way. He went home, I went home. Is that possibly the new beginning? I did not want this job. I was like,
can you hear me right now? Is my microphone working?
We can hear you, man.
Yeah, we can hear you.
So basically, when I give a reading, I gather information, and as I'm looking at what I've written down about you, everything is really very evident. Like when you look at the symbolism, and I believe that right now, the fact that I saw initially a staircase, the puzzle, a challenge, take a step back, bigger picture. The fact that the white with the job and new beginnings, and you're journeying to different places. Yes, look, you are basically on the brink. You're on the precipice of a lot of new experiences, and when someone hands you an offer, gives you an opportunity, that means that this person trusts you. And I think that you should embrace this.
Oh,
now,
yeah.
Is it going to be the end all? No, but it's probably going to lead to something. And I think that in a lot of ways that right now is the beginning for you. It's going to be the beginning of something, some kind of love. Maybe it's going to be closure with Jeffrey and someone new. Maybe the relationship with that is going to be a friendship, and that's something that you couldn't maintain before with him, and now you'll have it. And you might just go out there and meet someone new. And I'm totally behind what Michael said in regard to your music, because I sense so much creativity in you that you're not utilizing, and it's in you. And it's like you have an emotional self. And you're very and what I mean by is sometimes when you describe things, I think you describe things emotionally. You know, some people describe things with action, how they do actions, or, you know, certain thoughts. I believe like you're like a stream of consciousness when you speak sometimes, and that's the direction you should go. And this job, that sounds great. This part-time job that you're going to do, it's positive. It's positive because you're ready for this.
Oh, yeah, I am. Yeah.
You're totally ready. And I think it's like part of you is so like you're a little nervous that you don't know if it's really going to happen because you want it.
There you go. Exactly. I just don't know to what extent they're going to like really make
you know
it.
What?
Like,
don't get caught up in that. Don't get caught up in that energy. Just let it go. Let that energy go. Think positive, you know, and I would say it would take on its own positive aspect and manifest into something very good for you. I think if you're just so wrapped up in it and you're so concerned with it and what's going to happen and how is it going to unfold, you could stifle that energy a little bit. So I say just let it go. So what's the saying? Let it go and let God. Let go and let God.
Let go, let God.
Definitely.
Watch over it. Let your angels and your protectors and, you know, and the loved ones help work that behind the scenes for you. But there is, just like Mary Amy said, there's definitely an energy shift happening that's opening for you. And I think you have the opportunity to capitalize on it. But in that, you're going to have to kind of pull back and you're going to have to go on that inward journey and you're going to have to really like kind of push yourself. You know, there's going to be, I think that's the musical aspect. That may be, you know, if there's any self-limiting beliefs or if you kind of set these boundaries for yourself, that, you know, I knock those boundaries down, you know, and I think that's what's happening. I think there's some self-limiting beliefs and some things that you're now seeing that stuff can't hold you back, and you can push on beyond those points. So I say just jump in with both feet, embrace this energy cycle, because this is going to be a very, very powerful energy cycle for you to manifest really good things into your life.
Oh, I'm so excited for you. I really am. In fact, it's so strange because a week ago, I felt like there was more nervous tension than there is now. Now you seem like whatever's happened, you've released and you're ready to go. Like you're hitting the ground running. It's going to happen. Whatever it is that you want, you're going to manifest because you have more clarity about yourself. You have more clarity about what you want.
Yes, it definitely. I do. And, you know, the conversation with my manager yesterday, and the person from corporate really made me feel like, oh, I'm finally being appreciated. Somebody is actually noticing that I'm really good in this area, and they're going to do. I've been told, like, by any manager I've ever had, you're really good in this area. You raise the bar for people. You're one of the best I've ever seen. But nobody's ever taken the time to say, hey, well, even though you're part-time, let's try to maybe, you know, put you into a higher position, because they're like, no, company doesn't, you know, they only want full-time management.
Well,
and
now
after yesterday,
now you're seeing the positive unfold. So just ride that positive wave. You know, don't let those self-limiting beliefs or that, you know, what I'm going to say, don't let any of that chatter, that nonsense in your mind of you can't do that or it's not meant for someone if they're not full-time. Let that go. Just let those self-limiting beliefs go and say, hey, you know what, I could do this. In my part-time abilities, I could do this better than someone full-time, and I'm going to show them.
Exactly.
You know, so that's the mindset moving forward. Move forward like nothing's going to stop you, and nothing will stop you. You know, you got this. You got this, and you're going to manifest some really, really good things.
Thank you so much. And the music thing, I was going to say the music real quick. I thought about joining a band again.
Well, there you go.
Trying to find one.
So then I think you calling in and me bringing that through, not knowing anything about your musical background and bringing all that information through for you is a validation that you absolutely need to get back to the music and get back to singing. Find the band. I'm sure there's one out there. Definitely there's one out there.
All right. You guys
thank you so much, Val. Keep us posted.
Thank you so much for calling in, Val. You have a great evening, and you keep us informed. Let us know what happens, because I think there's going to be a lot of change within the next 30 days. Between now and 30 days.
Yay. I will definitely. God bless you both. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Have a great night.
You too, both of you. Bye.
Bye. You there, Michael?
I am. Woo, that was like a full-out reading. Boy, that was good.
Yeah, I got, it just gets, the longer that the person's on the phone call, then the more I get firmness about who they are. And I just was seeing, like, a lot of things are going to come together. I saw the puzzle. I think a lot of aspects of her life that never she seemed to kind of get through are all going to fit together now. And I don't know, when we go through obstacles and then we overcome, and even when we're defeated, I mean, that's where we get the lessons, is when we get knocked down. And
Absolutely.
You have to find a place and figure it out and get stronger and empower yourself and keep trying. And, she just stuck to it. And she's going to get there. Everything she wants, she's going to have.
Yeah, that's exactly it. Sometimes we get so caught up in the process, or how is it going to happen? How am I going to make this happen? Sometimes you just have to focus on the end result. You have to know it's going to happen, even if you don't know how it's going to happen. You focus on that end result, and you let everything else fall into place. I can tell you, in my own life, I've done that, and I've manifested that end result. Sometimes we get so caught up in the process and procedures of how we're going to get there. How am I going to do it? I don't have the means. I don't have the time. There's so many what ifs, or, we can give ourselves so many reasons that something won't happen. Sometimes we just need to shut that down and give ourselves every opportunity for it to manifest, and not get in our, kind of get out of our own way. And that's so important. Now, the interesting thing, tying this back into the heavenly realm and how the heavenly realm communicates with us, and I'm going to use you, Mary Amy, as an example of some of the imagery that you were getting and some of that, the pictures and the visions. Understand, and this is for our listeners out there, when you're trying to connect or you're trying to tap into the intuitive wisdom, getting this spiritual guidance, utilizing your psychic abilities, understand that sometimes that's how it's going to occur. When our loved ones are connecting, even with me, I'll utilize all my senses. I utilize all my knowledge, anything I've ever studied, anything I've ever learned, anything I've ever come in contact with or done. The spirit realm, the heavenly realms, will utilize our knowledge to try to give us that wisdom or that piece of information to help guide someone. And a lot of ways, one of the most powerful ways is that clairaudience, that clear seeing. And that was very interesting, because as soon as you saw that staircase, so this would be my challenge to you, Mary Amy, is start to document, like, when you're seeing those things and the meaning that you have behind them. So, and I noticed you said, I saw the staircase and I knew that was like a new beginning or an opening,
It's a journey to different places, like progress.
Yeah, exactly. So just understand, kind of put that in your toolbox and that image, and tell your guides, anytime the person is dealing with that, they're going to have a new opportunity, and it can be very positive. I'm going to see the staircase stepping up, and then you can start talking to them and say, show me the door. Is this, give me a certain colored door for certain thing. Is there going to be a gold door? That means, is this going to be the current job? I'm just telling you, these are like signs and symbols that we can work out this language with our collective guides, and they can uniformly give us like this coordinated information to help us understand the message. So put that staircase in your toolbox, and anyone else out there, if you're getting some kind of imagery, how that imagery connects to you. How do you identify that? Like, what meaning do you have? And I say, bring the information through. Like, so now part of this process and part of the battle of being a medium is not initially interpreting the information. So if the spirit realm gives me a pink and purple elephant, I'm not going to interpret that as, hey, you had a pink and purple stuffed animal. I'm literally to say exactly what they give me with no interpretation. And then towards the end, do you want me to interpret that, or what I think about that? And I'll kind of
You're popping.
Oh, I'm popping? Oh, so
now you're okay. Now you're okay. I don't know what. Yeah, maybe talk soft. You know what? So I just looked at my notes, and there was one thing that I saw that I didn't mention to her, and I saw a vortex, which represents the unknown. So I guess this is the unknown. She's stepping into uncharted territory, uncharted waters. Yeah. That's where she's at right now. And that's a scary place to be. Anyone out there, when we go through transition, you know, we can't really have proof that things are going to work out. We have to trust and have faith, and we trust our gut. We have hunches. We have our intuition, and we look no further than ourselves. We can come up with answers ourselves, before we go to sleep, we ask ourselves, and maybe it will be revealed in our sleeping dreams. Maybe you go into a quiet space, like when I say you do some psychic phenomena, you go into a quiet space and you tap into, like Michael's referring to, our clairaudience, our hearing, our sense of hearing beyond the walls of the room, or maybe your clairvoyance between your two eyebrows, your mind's eye. And so that's going to bring me right now to let's do a visualization before we take any more callers. How about that?
And the challenge for everyone, if you're dealing with something or you want information on it, as Mary Amy's taking us through a visualization, see what comes to you. Is a staircase coming to you? Are you getting a vision? Is it some knowledge being imprinted to you? Are you hearing a name? Are you seeing a number? Take note of those things, because that is your soul speaking to you. And if it's not your soul speaking to you, it's some kind of divine guidance or your collective trying to imprint some information on you. It's always utilized for our highest and best. We just need to pay attention. So what do you got for us, Mary?
Well, I just want to remind everyone, so why do I do these visualizations? Because I'm hoping that it's calming your senses, it's taking your blood pressure down, your heart rate down, it's getting you to a place of peace. Now, when you are in a place of peace, guess what? You can remember things better, you can problem solve with a much more proficient perspective. You can bring back memories that you've had, and you also have more patience when you're dealing with other people. So that's one of and it's healing to you. So tonight's visualization is going to be related to nature. So here we go, everyone. All right, our intention today is to become more aware to the value of nature through patience and trust. Let's realize our inner spirit flows freely when we become less dependent on attachments and more capable of expressing our truest self. Your nature visualization begins now. So what I'd like you to do is, as always, I'd like you to find a comfortable place, sit or lay down. You're totally welcome to keep your eyes open or closed. Now, put all your weight in your bottom, which is your root chakra, and I mean basically your behind. And you're putting your weight in your bottom because you're going to relax the rest of your body. You're going to let go of the tension from the top of your head to the tip of your toes. I'd like you to also imagine a cord running through you. Now, this cord is running through the inside of your body, and it's coming out the bottom, and it's going down, 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 deep into the earth. And you can choose the color you want it to be. So you're going to put your weight in your bottom. You're going to imagine this cord, and then you're also going to imagine that your feet are firmly planted in the earth's surface, and you're going to wiggle your toes. Now, let go of all the tension in your arms. So you're going to let all the energy run through your arms, out your fingertips. You're going to move your head around. You're going to let out a breath, and you're going to push away any doubt that you can do this, because this is all about self-confidence and gratitude and being in the moment. All the power lies in the moment. So together we're going to do 3 inhales and exhales, and then we're going to get on to the visualization. So we're going to do it on a 5 count, which means you inhale for 5, you hold it for 5, and you release it for 5. So let's do it together. Okay, so hopefully you're a little bit more relaxed. Okay, so we are right now going to release any tension that we have in our bodies. And we are going to let out a breath. And we are going to imagine right now Each one of us, and this is going to be your own personal experience and journey, you're going to imagine that you're alone in nature. You are right now alone in nature. Now, maybe it's your choice. Maybe you're on a beach and you're observing the blue waves of water splashing on the sandy beach, and you can feel it on the tip of your toes as the tide comes in. You can smell the fresh air, the sound of birds. You're listening, you're understanding, you're accepting the beach with the birds, the brilliant sky, the soft sand as part of you. Now, all of these pieces of nature equal a whole. You feel protective of the nature, the water, the air, the earth. It's very vivid to all your senses. It's giving you strength. You feel love reciprocated from the elements of nature. Now, as the birds chirp, you convince yourself that you know their language. You're breathing out confusion and stubbornness that you've held onto for practical reasons. Now, a new energy is touching your soul. It's awakening you. You have clarity of the importance of compassion to all living things. And this beach scene before you is serene. The sensations fill your senses. There's details, colors. You know the temperature of the water. You feel the sun, the wet sand. The birds' songs fill the air. You have a new thought that takes over your mind and your body and your spirit. Nature is part of you. You're a part of nature. So let's stay in this moment. Stay here. With all your senses, feel it, see it, become part of it. Okay, and I'm going to count backwards to 1, and you're going to open your eyes. 3, 2, 1. There you go. Michael, you there?
I'm here. I think I could have used this meditation earlier in the day before I was driving around on the roads of the Jersey Shore. It would have kept me much calmer.
Oh, good.
No.
That's great. Good to hear that.
I'll have to utilize that in the morning.
It's amazing how, our thoughts can change everything. They're very, very powerful, and they can calm our spirit down. And what I learned a while ago, it's about 2015, I started writing visualizations and speaking about visualizations, and I learned that when you close your eyes and you think of some kind of nature scene that you love and you cherish and you adore, it will change your mood. It literally will take your heart rate down. If you're upset or nervous or have anxiety, you will relax. Because when you are in nature, it relaxes you. So when you think of it, it will relax you.
I had a pretty weird experience. Well, I shouldn't say weird. Everything in the realm of two psychics could be, I guess, considered weird. But I was meditating. I was meditating in my backyard, and I have some really old big trees on my property. There's one specific tree that I like meditating under. And what was very interesting is when I sat today and I was meditating under this tree, there was no bugs around. I had no bugs, no beetles, no ants. And normally I'll notice like some bugs or some different things, but several minutes into meditating and I was kind of expanding my awareness, I was grounding my energy and I was expanding my aura. I noticed there was a zillion bugs attracted to my energy, and not in a bad way. Like I wasn't getting bit up by mosquitoes, but I noticed there were ants around. There was beetles shuffling through the grass, and it was like a tenfold amount prior to me meditating. So I can tell you animals, insects, nature, things in nature definitely pick up on the energy. No doubt about it that on an energetic level, we absolutely connect and communicate with everything. And that was really the culmination of me seeing that firsthand. And the interesting thing, too, was we have those, what are they, the cicadas, the big cicada beetles. I had one literally pop up out of the ground almost like in front of me as I was meditating, and it turned. And I don't know if you ever saw one of these things. They look like a little alien, like weird, 4 wings, kind of big blobby green body when they pop out, and they're I guess, fresh and not completely dried. This thing like literally kind of propped itself up a little bit and just started like watching me meditate. And it was the weirdest thing. And I said to it in my mind telepathically, I was like, fly, you can fly. And literally I just wanted him to fly away so he wasn't buzzing while I was trying to meditate. And and was it coincidence? I don't know, but literally after I said fly for the third time in my mind to him, like kind of transmitting it, and I was showing him in my mind's eye him flipping, like fluttering his wings and taking off. He did.
Oh my goodness.
Was I doing my part of animal communication, insect communication? Was it coincidence? I don't know, but it happened. So I'm going to have to experiment with that a little bit more. But I can tell you, like, I've experienced, birds coming in, noticing just shifts in energy of a space. But with animals pick up on that. So anyone that's meditating, just be aware if you're doing it outside or in nature. Is there a shift? Are animals starting to be drawn into your energy? Like, are you hearing more chirping? Is that cardinal or is that hawk? Did it fly in? Is it sitting in front of you? Very, very interesting. And we're definitely connected, and I absolutely feel they can perceive all of that energy that's coming from us.
Well, you just mentioned the pet psychic that we had on a few weeks ago, and I really, really took everything she said to heart. And it's interesting because now there is definitely more communication between me and my puppy dog Elsa, because now she comes and she just looks at me differently, like, do you understand what I'm saying to you? And it's like she's sending me a message. It happens all the time now. And I'm like, am I imagining this or is this real? Because
or
it's
not.
like I know what she wants. Pardon me?
I said, you are not. It's like my same experience with the
I don't even know what to say.
beetle.
Like, she comes in, and she comes even now more to me. Like, she's like, Mom. It's like it's a child. I never had this experience with her. But, I did a couple of times do exactly what the pet psychic had told us, which is where you imagine, you visualize and send them whatever it is that you want to tell them, like in a message form, like a picture form. And that's what I've done. Like, do you need to go out? So I send her that thought. And so it's just, I don't know. It's changed. And that's the only thing that's changed. So I think it must be related because I've been trying to communicate to her. So now it seems
it's
like
funny you say that. Funny you say that because I had a similar experience with my big male Bernese Mountain Dog, my male Finn. So we normally in the colder weather, I'll take him down and we'll do some walks, and there's a park near us that we can cruise through. And certain times of the day it's very quiet. Other times of the day it's loaded with other people and other dogs. So I have to be very selective bringing him down there because he could start barking. He gets wild. He's a very good dog and a very social dog, but he gets very excited and very animated. And I haven't been able to take him out the past couple of days, other than just kind of through through an area of my yard in the front yard. I have a fenced-in yard that he can go out and run around, but he likes his walks. Indicated to him through imagery that it was hot and sunny. Like I showed him the hot sun and me sweating and us being very uncomfortable because it's hot. And I kind of imprinted that image to him. I guess telepathically communicated it to him. And after I did that, he stopped bothering me and kind of giving me a little bit of an attitude that I wasn't taking him outside. It's almost like, okay, I understand that now we're not going out because, it's super hot out and we're not going to enjoy that. And I think he understood it, and I utilized that technique that she said. And, so it's funny you mentioning that. I had to also mention, my experience that I just had doing a very similar thing.
She's also doing this thing. See, when I carry her down the stairs, take her outside in the middle of the day, because sometimes when I come home from work in between my jobs, I go run down the stairs. I carry her down. The whole time she's doing this whining thing, like, I don't want to go. She's going, She used to only do that once in a while. Now she's doing it all the time, like she knows what she's saying matters. So she's saying, I don't want to go, but she needs to go. Okay, so let's take another caller. I know it's funny, right? But I'm open to it, open mind, open heart, and there is something to it because, like you speaking to the little insect outside, And it's definitely a form of telepathy, and it's about frequency, and then their thoughts being on the same frequency. It's like when we attract into our lives certain people. Now, if you're in a really down mood and you're angry, let me tell you, you are going to go out in the public and you are going to attract some crazy people. But if you're in a calm, sweet mode and you're going along, you're going to attract that kind of other individual. You will. And it goes for the same. It's like basically a vibration, a frequency. It's our ID. And, it goes with communication and our thoughts. So our thoughts will attract a certain individual as well. And you can change your frequency of your thoughts to send them. Okay, let me get on. We are going to grab the first caller who's been holding right here. And we have a whole bunch holding. So we're going to try to take 2 more, okay, Michael? So put your alarm on.
I will set my timer.
Set your timer. Here we go. Hi, this is Mary and Michael. Hi.
Yes,
hello.
Hi. Could you hear me? Yes. Hello. Could you hear me?
Yeah.
Oh, we can hear you. Who's with us?
Yeah. I just want to know, it's been just the summer. It's been.
Wait, what's your name? We don't know your name.
My name is Stacy.
Hi, Stacy. Nice to meet you.
Yeah, my name is Stacy, and socially, my social life has been non-existent, and I was just wondering when it's going to get better, or have friends that last a while. I want to know when things will pick up and I'll be getting out, because it's been a heat wave, and some people are on vacation now, and I just want to know when things will happen. The doors will open and I'll be socializing.
Okay, so I'm going to step right up now, Michael, and then you can take over. I just want to say something
absolutely.
to that. So, Stacy, what you're saying in these few seconds that you spoke, it's all about. I can tell that you're frustrated by this. You're super sad. You're super sad. You want it to change. It all changes with you. And how does that happen? So there's something, if I'd like you to go into your memory, there's some kind of bad situation or a relationship that ended poorly that's hurt you. And so you have to either write that down and journal it, contact the person and communicate it, figure out what it was that went wrong, or you don't have to contact them. But there's something
they contacted me. In other words, I had friends that we knew each other for years. They used to visit, and they moved down here, and they had a party I wasn't invited to. And also, besides that, a few of them wanted to set me up with somebody that was way too old that I wasn't even asking, somebody that could actually be my father. And I was very disappointed. I brought it up to them, and I can't go back to being friends with people that made me feel like I'm not worth anything.
Okay.
So,
good.
Yeah.
That's
so
good.
I kind of,
exactly.
It's awful because,
Okay, that's good because you're not going to try to grab onto something that wasn't working. So you know what? Sometimes maybe you'll get back with them in a friendship at a later date or not. However, this. Sometimes when we have long distance relationships, we don't know what the person's like full time, and we say, okay, this worked great as a long distance, but now that they're here, it's not working. And you know what? It sounds like you're ready to start over, and you can. So everything that you're feeling right now about them, the best thing you could do is to sit down and write all about it, right? So that you don't have to show it to anyone. Just let it all out, whatever it is. If it's sadness,
they want to be friends with me.
Anger.
I told them no.
Okay, well there you go. So you don't have to. You can do whatever you want. You don't have to ask for permission. You don't want to be friends? Then don't be friends. Do you want to do some kind of read on her, and then I'll get more information, Michael, now?
Yeah, Stacy, just give me your name slowly. Just say your first name, and I just want to connect to your energy.
Stacy.
Okay, Stacey, I have to ask you a couple questions because I think as I was opening and connecting to one of the other callers, I may have been pulling information in for you too. So there may have been some information coming through that our last caller couldn't take. I just have to throw this out there, and I just have to kind of see why this information was coming through, because the S was coming through so prominently, and the name Stacey also came through as I was telling someone else, Stacey or Susan. So is there a connection with you to the name of Christopher, or anything to do with like the Wizard of Oz, Dorothy, Toto, dog, having a dog like that? Is there any connection to like the Wizard of Oz or Wizard of Oz imagery that you would be able to take?
No.
All right, so I just want to rule that out. Now, is there any connection with you and the name Christopher?
No.
Okay, good.
No.
Good. All right, so before I connect, I just want to leave that energy. I just want to watch that energy out. I just have to rule out because there was some information that came through for one of our other callers she couldn't take, and I kind of, with you giving me your name, I had information coming through around that. So it could still, so Val, if you're listening, that information would still probably pertain to you. Just be aware of those needs. Now, in your energy field, as you're saying your name to me, you said your name, Stacey, and we kind of connect, and you open up your energy field, and I start connecting to that. There's very prominent connections to you in Virginia. Now, are you already connected to Virginia in some way, or someone close to you connected to Virginia? Because Virginia is coming through very prominently in energy field to me.
No.
Okay. Is there?
I met a friend that she's from Boston, but that's all I know.
Okay, so no, definitely not a Boston connection that I'm seeing. So there's something. I'm just going to leave it because it's coming through. I don't want to discredit it, and so I have to share it as the information is coming through around you.
I have a friend that contacted me recently, and we were friends, and then she found another friend and didn't call me for years, and she called me out of the blue.
Is this a Virginia connection, though? Is it?
Well, she's close to that. She lived in Maryland.
Okay. No, specifically, this is like specifically Virginia. So just know, if you're not connected to someone in Virginia right now, in your energy field, Virginia is very, so there's positive connections and there's positive aspects to that. Mm-hmm. Now, when I say hearing Virginia exactly like that, so just understand, if I could be talking about the state Virginia, or if something comes up like Virginia Avenue, Virginia, and you're in a location or a place or something has that Virginia.
Well, no, I remember a friend of mine lived on Virginia Avenue. This was going back from many years. And then she called me, and I guess she was going to move here, and she didn't. But she lived on Virginia Avenue, yeah.
Virginia. Okay, so there is a connection to the Virginia Avenue, because that's why I was almost sensing like it may be beyond the state. So just know, are you in contact with that person now? Is there a connection there? Is there, because there's some kind of...
No. She kind of, I guess, not
okay,
anymore.
So there's no connection to... Okay.
Yeah.
So...
She was somebody that we were friends, and, all of our, it's funny. No, we know of somebody that I ran into somebody, we know of an acquaintance that went to school with her that lived near her. But that's all I know about it. She doesn't really keep in touch with anybody. It's just...
Okay, so that's fine.
She did it first, yeah.
Just understand, if something comes up now, because I feel like I'm getting this, not really linking this to past energy connection. I feel like I'm seeing this, or your collective is showing me this Virginia connection as some type of positive potential that could unfold moving forward. So just be aware of that. Be aware of the connection to Virginia, someone that's connected to Virginia, that Virginia name, that Virginia street. I don't believe it's in connection with someone you've already been in contact with. I think this is something new unfolding. So just be aware of that. So I just want to first put that out there. And now, what's the deal with William or Bill? Billy? Is there a Billy around you? Because I'm also I feel like they're giving me the name Bill or Billy.
I know a neighbor, Billy, but he's much older. I don't. You know what I'm saying?
No. Is he in spirit? He's not in spirit, right? He's not in spirit, correct? He's still living?
Correct.
Oh,
yeah.
Because there's in your collective, they're mentioning the name Billy. So I don't know what's going to come up with him, but if you can, like, as I say that, you immediately connect that to someone, or you can identify someone. Just know there's something that's pulling your energy to that person. So you may reach out, for some type of help or assistance, or he may reach out to be able to put you in a positive connection to a new person, a new social circle. There's some kind of positive connection or influence around that name Billy and you. So just be aware of that. Also be aware of, like a major shift that happens. Oh, you meet someone out of the blue and you think this is really good, and then somehow you get this connection to Billy. Billy shows up or Billy reaches out. Just know that's a positive sign. I almost feel like that's reinforcing. So if something happens around the name Billy, I feel like that's a validation or a confirmation in regard to a direction you're moving with a certain decision around you. So the name Billy is positive. The aspects of Virginia are also positive around you. Now, the interesting thing, did you have a family member that worked in Washington, D.C.? Was there someone that dealt in the government or dealt with politics or Congress or like a district official or something like that? Because I feel like I have old male energy that's around you that's connecting me to Washington, D.C., or they live near Washington. Can you take that?
Yeah, a relative. Yeah, person there, but I never got to meet him.
Okay, so you were breaking up a little bit. The microphone was popping, or the phone was popping?
A relative of mine that was in that area was
a man.
Yeah,
a male,
prominent.
right?
Yeah,
male. Okay.
But I never got to meet him.
No, well, that's fine, but you know who he is, and he's around you. So I have to confirm that male energy that's with that Washington connection, and he's just in your energy field. So he's connected. So I would say he's been gone a while for him to come through pretty powerful like that, even if you didn't know him. He is connected to your energy field. He's around you, and I feel like was he like an uncle to your father, like a father's uncle or a father? Was he like the uncle to one of your parents?
Mother, yeah.
Mother, okay, so the mother side. That's what I feel like he's talking about. I was the uncle. And obviously it wasn't your uncle. It would be mom or dad's uncle. Okay, so it was your uncle. Okay.
Yeah.
So he's around. Now, the D, I feel like he's talking about the D initial. I feel like he's showing me a D. Is there a significance to the D? A Dan, a Don? Who is the D?
Father.
Ah, okay. So D is and your father's in spirit, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So just know your father's around you. He's talking about the D male, the Dan. That's what he said. So that's his name, Dan?
Yeah.
Okay. So he's around you. So I appreciate you acknowledging that and validating that piece of information. So the uncle, the great uncle, we're going to call him, because I think that's kind of how he's falling into place, more like a great uncle, the Washington connection. He is talking about Dan. Dan is with him. So I have to acknowledge that to you, that your father is around you. He's obviously guiding you, and he obviously needs to make his presence known. So I'm getting the sense that you're either kind of trying to connect to him and not feeling like you're either getting a sign or a message, or he's just validating your connection to him and the confirmation you've had, and this is his way of doing it. So there's something going on around his connection to you and trying to connect to you. And I feel I'm validating that he is around you and he is connecting.
No, that's amazing.
Yeah. So Mary Amy, what do you, on that note? What do you got?
Okay. So this is what I received, Stacy. There is a time right now, this moment for you. There's a lot of uncertainty, so that's going to be uncomfortable because you're, like a lot of us, all in a big transition. So you've got to, what I received from you, a cemetery and a tombstone, which means that you have to let go of the past, release the old stuff, which is what we already talked about. So you're letting go of the past, and how do you do that? Let it go whatever way you've sense is right for you. Now, sometimes we have to take it a step further. We think, okay, well, I'm not dwelling on it, but we are. It's like ruminating in our mind, the thoughts. So that's why I say journaling, because it's very cathartic, where it runs through your hand, out to your fingertips, and you're writing it down. So the tombstone represents the sadness and fear about letting go of the past. Because even though we know, like, oh, that didn't go well, we still might feel like sadness about it, and you're ready right now. You are ready to get new friends. You are ready to have a new life. You're ready for good stuff. I saw a two-way highway, which is a path towards your goals. You are ready for an adventure. And then I also saw a broken heart for love. So you feel that you have been betrayed in some ways. You're broken apart. So it's time for you to heal, whatever that is for you, Stacey. So when I say that to you, when I say healing, now each of us heal a different way. Like you might heal, like there's a love language in a relationship. There's a healing language. So each of us are going to heal differently, like what does it for us. And some people it's time. Some people it's trying something new or a new relationship, or it's a new beginning. Some of us, what I'm trying to say is, like each of us have something individual, a way to feel better, to heal themselves. And do you have a question? I sense I have to ask you that. Do you have a question?
No, I just want to see, like, when I'll be getting out socially, when things will get better, like I'll, be going out.
Okay, you're going to do that yourself. You're going to start, this is how it's going to go. You basically are going to sit down and you're going to say, okay, what interests me? If I was to go out, what would it be? Do I like live music? Do I like groups of people? Is there some kind of activity that I can start doing now? Is there a place that there's a lot of people that are walking around that I can walk around to and I can meet new people? You're going to start, and then there's going to be an avalanche of networking that takes over. Like you can't just sit wherever you are and be like, okay, when's it going to change? You can't wait for anybody else. All the power.
But I'm meaning, is it okay for me just to go or ask friends that I know of? Like, I had friends that reached out that I haven't seen in years, and they called me out of the blue. I mean, should I go pick up with them or
of
just?
Course.
That's what I mean.
That's how it goes. That's how it goes. Because there's the opportunity right there. Now, maybe it's not going to be them. Maybe they'll know someone that you're like, wow, oh my gosh, here's somebody that I have a great relatability with. You're like, okay, this person, we finish each other's sentences. You just have to and how do you do this? You're going to manifest it. You're going to see it in your mind. Like if you can see what you want to be a social person. You are ready to have an adventure. You want to have relationships. You want to have like a love and communication and fun and like we all do. And so how do you do that? You can't. You take whatever comes to you. That's the right thing for you. So start with that. Yes.
Yeah, but you understand that I don't want to go back to these people that are upset that I'm upset, and they're like trying to go back with me, and I won't take them back.
So check this out, Stacey. This is what's coming to me around this, and I do believe this is like your collective energy kind of imprinting this on me. Now, I have to ask, are you near a state that has like lots of jazz music or different like music festivals or music related things? Tonight there may be like a music connection. Where are you calling us from?
Florida.
Ah, okay, Florida. So yeah, there's tons of live music. You got tons of opportunities. The interesting thing, I feel as if when Mary Amy was speaking to you and bringing through information, I literally heard she has to challenge herself to the new experience. So, and what's interesting is, I don't know if you're either connected to like country music or like mainstream pop music, and this would challenge yourself to go to like a jazz type concert or some different type of event. But I feel like that's what I was getting. Now, let me ask you this: are you connected to country music? Is that like a
well,
style?
I like more. It's okay, but I'm more of I like more like how could we say it? Like alternative, new wave, like that
so
kind
like
of
rock.
music.
So like heavier rock, more like that kind of stuff. Okay, so like new age, so like heavier stuff, right?
I like some country music. I mean, like
Well,
I like.
So this is my challenge. No, I just wanted to kind of
Yeah.
feel that out of where you're at musically, so I could kind of see what they're showing me. So the funny thing is, I think you have to go to something that you're not normally thinking about doing. So if you're normally going to like a rock concert or a new age concert, or so it might be like if you were going to go see like Shinedown, the band, rather than go see Shinedown, you might have to go see to a Luke Combs concert or, you know, some kind of country artist. I think they're talking about you shifting your environment. And it's interesting because I was getting similar energy to one of the other callers, and sometimes I feel there'll be like this connecting link between why certain people call, and the Energy Collective can kind of show us things that would benefit, that would benefit each. And that's what I see for you, is almost challenging yourself to do things you aren't necessarily comfortable doing. And it's not like it's like this is some bad thing, or you have to go sleep, sit through like a orchestra of classical music where you might fall asleep, but it could be that. But I think you need to challenge yourself to new experiences and new social circles, to where you're going to find a different like demographic of people that you maybe didn't think you would relate to, or find someone that you would really be attracted to, or whatever it is. I think you have to challenge yourself for new experiences, to put yourself into new social circles and new environments that'll allow you to experience a different type of person. So that's what I'm seeing. I feel like that's what they're showing me. So that's what I would say is challenge yourself to maybe some new experiences and go into new social circles or new social environments. So rather than be at the rock concert, maybe just, you can still go to the rock concert, but maybe go to the country concert instead on that night and try that, or the jazz concert or festival. Versus,
I used to go out. We used to go to Latin music. I like Latin music a lot.
Yeah, so those type of things. So that's what I think is just right now. I think you need to challenge yourself to get out of your comfort zone, to have new experiences that aren't the same usual experiences. You know what I mean? So it's going to be new social circles, a new environment, new place, so, and I think that is going to kind of shift your awareness and it will shift your mindset. And I think that's what you need to do as far as the connection to some, to new people, new social situations. What do you think, Mary Amy? I know we're kind of running out of time here, and
yeah, we are. It's so funny because it's a night of people starting over, and maybe it is what's going on in the cosmos or something. But we have opportunities without realizing it. It's how we present ourselves. So go to a place in your mind, Stacy, of what brings you the most happiness, like what it would be, like Michael's relaying to you the ideas of going out to seeing certain music. You want to manifest positive, outcomes. So how it's cause and effect. So you're going to create it. You can change outcomes through your thoughts. So you're going to visualize everything going perfectly. It's all great. In fact, a week from now, you've got 5 friends that are asking you to do something. You're going to shoot high to get in the middle, right? So you're going to imagine like the most humongous social life, and then you're going to get a social life. Do you see what I'm saying? Because like we can create it through our thoughts, how things are going to go. We can change the outcome. If it's like they say that when people are competing for something, athletes, they visualize getting to the finish line and winning. And you're going to visualize getting to the finish line with your social life. And you're going to start by accepting any invitations you have and see how it goes. I mean, like, look, don't give up. Let's say it doesn't go perfectly as planned. Don't have any expectations. Maybe the experience is going to be you're going to get used to doing this again. You're going to get used to hanging out with new people. And and be kind to yourself. Don't put pressure on yourself. Make sure that you are not too worried about the outcome, but imagine a positive outcome, if that makes any sense.
Mhm.
Okay.
I would do a vision board just to throw in my last 2 cents. Mary Amy's talking about visualization and visualizing. a great thing to go along with that would be your ideal circumstances, your ideal partner, the ideal life you want to live. Make a vision board, and some people laugh about vision boards, but I'm telling you, when you see that and you see it in front of you and it's something your mind can grasp and see on a daily basis, you're going to keep that energy imprint around. You're going to keep your mind open to seeing and coordinating you on that path. So absolutely challenge yourself to make a small vision board of the environment you want to be in, ideal partner, ideal work situation, ideal friends, ideal leisure time, what you want to do.
Yeah, if I tell you partner, I haven't had a date in like a decade.
Make the vision board. Manifest that person. Seriously, think about the qualities that you want and put that person together. And I guarantee your soul will start to align you in that direction. But you have to put it in front of you and have that end goal, have that target. Make that vision board your target. And it doesn't matter how you get there. The how doesn't matter. Have that end result, and I guarantee there will be aspects of your life that shift to start manifesting that vision. But Stacey, unfortunately,
I wholeheartedly believe in the vision board. Yes, here we are at the end. Thank you so much for calling in, Stacey, and we hope you follow us, and we hope that you let us know how things go.
Oh, definitely will. No, it's great. It's great. It's great. I really feel better because, like I said, I've been since March. It's happening. Hibernated on weekends every. I guess like. And it just worked out.
Well, this will be the process. You have a new beginning. You have fantastic energy that can definitely manifest what you need to get that new start and that happiness. So make that vision board.
Yeah, I got to go out and have fun.
Yeah, well, just be very present in the moment, and be aware of those new opportunities. And they're definitely going to start coming. They're definitely going to start coming around you. And it's going to be a powerful shift for you. But Stacey, I appreciate you calling, but we are going to have to let you go at this point so we don't cut you off like we did with our listener last week. But
okay,
we really appreciate you calling
so much,
in,
Stacey.
and keep us posted how things unfold.
Yes, and have fun. Have fun this weekend.
Yes. Keep it fun.
All right. Bye.
Too.
All right, so I think, Mary Amy, we're down to like 2 minutes. So how do we want to wrap up Two Psychics this week?
Well, I'm going to just say, everyone, that I'm so grateful for everyone who's listening. And tonight we spoke about the heavenly realm. And we had a visualization, and we had some callers. And we'll be back here again next week, which will be episode 23 at 7:30. And then the following, I guess it's July 11th. I don't know if is that the following week? Yes, probably. The following week we have Rick, who is a Bigfoot investigator, and I've known Rick for a number of years, and he has great stories to tell about Bigfoot. And you can reach Michael Edley at michaeledley.com. You can reach me at maryamyofficial.com. Both of us are open for events. And we also private readings. You can find our Facebook page, Two Psychics Radio, and our merchandise is on Spreadshop. Put in the search Two Psychics, TWO, Psychics, and I hope you follow us. Any parting words, Michael?
No, I just want to thank everyone for listening to Two Psychics. It is our pleasure that we can bring this information to you. I hope we can kind of open people's mind, body, and spirit to a lot of the stuff we're talking about. And I hope everyone, kind of gets on that path of understanding we are this spiritual being having this human existence. As we talk about the heavenly realm tonight, just know that heavenly realm, it is right here. It is right here with us. That divine presence of the heavenly realm transcends through us. We are always connected to the divine. We just need to open our mind, body, and spirit to that divine connection, and magnificent things will start to transcend. There's no doubt about it. We just have to tune in.
Yes, and you can write down your sleeping dreams when you wake up tomorrow morning. You can find my dream journal on Amazon.
Yeah, and if you want to catch me on Facebook, Eye of the Spirits with Michael Edley on Facebook or michaeledley.com. Two Psychics, check us out. We will be coming back to you next Thursday with a great episode. And if you haven't liked our Facebook page, like our Facebook page. We need some friends. And then you're notified about everything we're doing. So thank you, everyone. Thank you so much.
Share it. We love you all. Be well.
Get ready for next week.
Okay. Bye, Michael.
Take care. Have a good night.